Reverend Themba Mtambo, one of the new subset trustees who sadly passed away this past Thursday. To all the guests, we hope today's proceeding bring closure and comfort and that the event is to your satisfaction. And we hope that you'll be together with us as we take salute to our fallen heroes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister. Ladies and gentlemen, tribute will now be paid to the fallen heroes and heroines of the South African Police Service who passed on in the line of duty. Please take note that the last post will be played by the trumpeter. During the playing of the last post, only commissioned officers must salute in conjunction with the guard of honor. All other guests are requested to rise but do not salute. While the last post is played, African national flag will be lowered at half-mast. As soon as the last post is finished, 2 minutes of silence will be observed. After the moment of silence, the reveille will be played by the trumpeter while the South African national flag will be hoisted. Please be reminded that only commissioned officers must salute during the playing of the last post. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise.
Guard of honor, I think guard of honor, shoulder, arms. Guard of honor, present arms.
Last post to mourn our fallen heroes and heroines.
Guard of honor, shoulder, arms.
2 minutes of silence will be observed for our fallen heroes and heroines. Thank you. The reveille will be played in honor of our fallen heroes and heroines. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You may now be seated.
God of honor, order, arms. God of honor, stand at ease.
Ladies and gentlemen, followed by the Minister. Thank you, Mr. President. I now call upon the Minister of Police, General Bekikele, to lay the wreath on behalf of the Department of Police. Minister of Police, General Bekikele, please. Thank you, Minister. Now the National Commission of the South African Police Service, General Fanima Semola, will lay the wreath on behalf of the South African Police Service. General Masemola, please. Thank you, General. Ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem will now be played by the South African Police Service Band in honor of our fallen heroes and heroines who lost their lives in the line of duty. All members in uniform must salute during the playing of the national anthem, and guests will be requested to rise. All men in civilian clothes will be requested to remove their headdress during the playing of the national anthem. There will also be a fly past from south to north by the South African Police Service Air Wing at the end of the national anthem in remembrance of our fallen heroes and heroines. All members must remain standing and in a saluting position until the fly past. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the playing of the national anthem and the fly past. You are reminded to remain standing until the fly past.
God of honor, attention. God of honor, shoulder, arms. God of honor, national salute, present, arms.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You may now be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, the guard of honor, the sentry guard, and the flag man will now be marched out. You are requested to remain seated during the march off. Colonel Mathieu, please.
Guard of honor, attention. Guard of honor, shoulder, arms. Guard of honor, close, order, march. Guard of honor, move to the left in threes, left turn. Guard of honor, tracing by the right, quick march. Eyes front. Guard of honor, dismiss. The three.
Thank you, Colonel. Ladies Education Trust, Mr. Jahan, to lay the wreath on behalf of the South African Police Service Education Trust, and followed by families present here to lay the wreath as the names of the deceased are read out. Employee health and wellness members, you are requested to give support to the families.
Constable Masego, A.F. Sergeant Mjwaha, B.P. Warrant Officer Jameson, M.A. Constable Phillips, D.D. Constable Mukhoto, K. Captain Mhlanga, M. Constable Ramuloko, M.C. Warrant Officer Mpebe, M.J. Warrant Officer Houston, A.J. Warrant Officer Utseleng, A.J. Sergeant Madondo, S.W. Sergeant Matiza, T.P. Constable Magwaza, A.B. Warrant Officer Erasmus, W.A. Sergeant Mjoli, V.M. Captain Teletsane, S.E. Warrant Officer Mfazwe, A.K. Constable Mbele, T.M.R. Warrant Officer Ranoto, C.F. Sergeant Shungwani, V.N. Sergeant Bacha, V.I. Constable Malahlela, K.P. Sergeant Ngobo, V. Sergeant Dlamini, N. Student Constable Kulu, S. Constable Pedro, A. Sergeant Mapani, D. S. Reservist Constable Nzimande, S. P. Constable Ngabe, S. K. Warrant Officer Maruta, N. A. Sergeant Nyao, S. P. Sergeant Hendricks, B. E. Constable Patela, N. Sergeant Dipufa, B.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That concludes the roll of honor. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the Republic of South Africa, His Excellency, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, will now deliver the keynote address. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Mr. President Ramaphosa, please.
Thank you. Let us be seated. Program Director, Minister of Police, General Bheki Cele, Deputy Minister of Police, Castle Matale, Minister of Home Affairs, Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi, National Commissioner of the South African Police Service, General Fani Masemula, senior management, and members of the South African Police Service, members of Parliament who are here present, including the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee, Honorable Siabi, representatives of labor, unions and community police forums, Mr. Vuyani Chahana, the chairperson of the trust that deals with the education of the children of the fallen police. Families of our fallen police officers, members of the clergy, guests, and fellow South Africans. This is a sad and somber moment as we pay tribute to the hardworking men and women of the South African Police Service who lost their lives in the line of duty. Today, we pay tribute to them, and we also thank Minister of Police and General Masemula for always organizing this function so that we can honor and give dignity to those who have passed on in the line of duty. Every year on the first Sunday of September, we pay our respects to those who paid the ultimate price while serving and protecting the people of South Africa. Deadly attacks on police officers are sadly once more on the rise. The Constitution of our country mandates police to prevent, to combat, and investigate crime. It mandates them to maintain public order and protect the inhabitants of the Republic of South Africa and their property. Theirs is a noble duty, a duty of ensuring that all people in South Africa are safe and that they feel safe. The officers we are commemorating today lost their lives to criminals who have no regard for the rule of law. The increase in the killings of police officers, whether on or off duty, demonstrates the level of desperation of criminals to remove any obstacle that is in the way of their criminal intent. attacks on police officers must come to an end. Minister of Police spoke about the shootout that happened in Limpopo just a few hours ago, 48 hours ago, when criminals opened fire on police, and the police did what they are trained for, that when under such attack, they should continue to protect life, property, and also protect their own lives and the lives of their colleagues. There must be justice, and there will be justice for the families of our fallen heroes and heroines. The hard work of the Directorate for Priority Crime Investigations, known as the Hawks, has resulted in the arrest of some 76 suspected police murderers over the past year. These cases are currently before different courts. A total of 488 suspects have been arrested for the deaths of police officers since 2018. Through diligent investigative work, 9 convicted police killers were handed down 9 life sentences, a total sum of 158 years imprisonment. We must continue to arrest and prosecute and get convictions for those who willfully undermine the authority of the state. The members we are remembering here today were spouses, they were husbands, they were wives, they were parents, they were sons and daughters, they were also brothers and sisters. They were colleagues and they were friends, and so much more. They were involved in the lives of their communities and their families. And many of them, if not all, were breadwinners. Although the convictions of these criminals can never bring their loved ones back, it will comfort those family members knowing that justice has indeed been served. Today we pay tribute to our fallen heroes for their selflessness as well as for their sacrifice. The sacrifice that they made in act of proudly serving as well as protecting the people of South Africa. The nature of policing means that at times our men and women in blue are put in harm's way. Despite this, policemen and women wake up each day to report for duty so that all of us can go to sleep peacefully at night and our children can play safely in the streets and the pathways of our villages. To keep the legacy of the fallen 34 heroes and heroines alive, I call upon all serving police officers to ensure that these deaths are not in vain. You must remain steadfast in the fight against crime. This is your calling. This is what you joined the police service for. To fight crime, to ensure the safety of all South African citizens. Minister Cele, I call upon you and the management of the South African Police Service to work together to ensure that police officers are safe while performing their duties. Far too many of our officers are dying off duty as well. The South African Police Service management needs to deepen efforts to improve the wellness of our police officers. Police must be taken care of physically, mentally, socially, and psychologically. Communities need to speak out against police killings. The lives of police officers should be valued not just by their colleagues, but they should also be valued by everyone who lives in our country. Police are there to protect communities and their properties. The relationship between police and communities needs to be a close relationship. It needs to be a relationship that is based on trust, a relationship that is based on confidence, and it needs to be a strong relationship. But it also needs to be a consultative relationship where communities feel free to engage with the police, to consult them about their challenges, about their difficulties, about their problems. In many ways, police officers are then called upon to play a multidisciplinary role, a role that goes beyond just being a person who arrests. It goes into being a servant of the people. It needs to be a relationship of cooperation, trust, and respect. We must all unite and work together to ensure that we leave no space for criminals to operate in. Our communities are all speaking out against the incidents of continued criminality in our country, and they need the police to be close to this issue. The police needs to be seen to be out there in defense of the people so that the people can feel safe and they can be safe. On behalf of the government and the people of South Africa, we thank the 34 fallen heroes and heroines posthumously for their bravery and service to the country which they rendered diligently. We want to thank their families who supported them throughout their careers in the South African Police Service, for having been their strength, their support, and their comfort. To the families of the fallen officers, we pray that you find peace and healing. May their soul rest in peace. But on our part, for those who remain as police officers, we can assure the families of the fallen heroes and heroines that we will carry on with the task where they left off. They joined the police service to serve, and it is now upon us to carry on with that task of serving the people of South Africa and making sure that they are safe and that they feel safe. The time has come for the police to demonstrate to the South African people that indeed we can gird our loins and indeed we can take on these criminals, just like the police officers did in Limpopo some 48 hours ago. It is now time to show that the authority of the state cannot be disrespected. It cannot and must not be disregarded. The authority of the state is the authority of the people of South Africa as a whole. We are the people. Therefore, anyone who disrespects and disregards the people of South Africa collectively under the umbrella of the state must know that they have crossed the line and that we will not allow them to do as they wish, and we will not allow them to kill those whose job is to protect, defend the people of South Africa, the South African police. So I thank you all for being here. And I'd also like, as I look across, to congratulate these police who are still in training. We announced in Parliament that we are going to be employing 10,000 this year, 10,000 last year. You are joining the police ranks at a time of real challenge in our country, where we need police officers to dedicate themselves. I'm glad that you are going through your training. It is rigorous training. And I want you to remain committed to the training until you finish. And that when you finish, you will have been prepared for the task that lies ahead. Do not be deterred by some of the dangers that lie ahead. Be strong and be encouraged with the full knowledge that you are going to be serving the people of South Africa. So I wish you luck, all of you sitting across there, to finish your course and then come and serve the people of South Africa. Minister and General Masemola, I thank you again for preparing these young men and women to serve the people of South Africa. I have seen their determination, and I've seen that indeed they are willing, prepared to join the ranks of those that we are bringing into the police to serve the people. Thank you very much for joining the South African police. It is a noble task that you will be performing for the people of South Africa. Once again, to the families, we bow our heads and we thank you for coming here. We know that it is difficult, very difficult for you as you come. As General Kele said, we hope that this occasion will not be opening up wounds, but hopefully it will bring closure. But it will also show you that your relative belonged to a large family of police that loved them. Even as they are departed, their names will forever be on this wall as a remembrance of the tasks that they performed on behalf of the people of South Africa. May their souls rest in peace. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Thank you, Mr. President. Ladies and gentlemen, you may now be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, I now call upon the National Commissioner of the South African Police Service, General Fanny Masemola, to deliver the vote of thanks. General Masemola, please.
President of the Republic of South Africa, His Excellency Mr. Ramaphosa, Minister of Police, General Kele, ministers, all ministers present here today. We noted the presence of Minister Motsoaledi, all ministers present here today, including Deputy Minister of Police, Dr. Castle Matale, the Honorable Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Police, Honorable Siabi, all members of Parliament present here today, the National Head of DPCI, all heads of entities, Deputy National Commissioners, Divisional and Provincial Commissioners, all generals present here today, members of South African Police Service, all trainees, representatives of POP Crew and SAPU, chairpersons of national and provincial police boards, the chairperson of the trustee of Subset, Mr. Jarana, and all other members, all stakeholders, the clergy, most important, the families of our fallen heroes. And the media is also recognized, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we stand in the remaining ceremonial aspects of this solemn Commemoration Day service. We have now come to the end of this program where we pay tribute to the 34 members of South African Police Service who lost their lives during the financial year 2022-2023. As is customary for South African Police Service, the names of the 34 members will now be imprinted on the wall of remembrance and will remain for generations to come on the wall of gallant heroes. On behalf of members of South African Police Service Ministry, we would like to take this opportunity to say, Mr. President, we know you have got very competing priorities in terms of your diary, but thanks very much for honoring this day and be with us here today. We are humbled and privileged by your presence on this day, Mr. President. The Honorable Minister of Police, General Kele, and the Deputy Minister, thanks for continued selfless support and the journey that you go with men and women in blue. To all our best interests, to our communities, we would like to thank you very much. We know it is a painful day. It is not a day that's supposed to happen, because we only come here when we come to commemorate the fallen heroes. Also, a word of appreciation to our all members of Parliament, the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee, all members of the Executive Council who attended today, head of entities, provincial board, CPF chairpersons, and the national board chair. Would like to say, we know you had other important things to do on this Sunday, but you chose to come and spend this day with us here today. We would like to also thank the management of South African Police Service, the labor unions, all heads of entities, and all members of the South African Police Service, including the trainees who came here to make this day possible. Members of the media, we thank you for sharing this day with us and making sure you inform those that are not here today. On conclusion, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the organizing committee for the way you have made this event of today seamless. Thank you very much. On behalf of the families of the fallen heroes, we'd like to say a feather in the cap on how you arrange this. Also, let me take the opportunity to thank the families. I know you traveled very, very far to come and be here with us today. And we know this was the most painful day for yourself, which you were sharing with you. But we thank you for making time and come and be with us today. Thanks to each and every one of you that I might have left out, the subs choir, the police band. I would like to thank each and every one of you, even those that I might have left, I might not have mentioned by name, but thank you very much for making this day to come and spend the day with us. Those of you who are traveling far, travel safe, take some rest so that you can make it way to our destination peacefully. I thank you.
Thank you, General. Ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem will now be played for the departure of the functionary for the event, the President of the Republic of South Africa, His Excellency, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa. All members in uniform must salute during the playing of the national anthem, and guests will be requested to rise. All men in civilian clothes will be requested to remove their headdress while the national anthem is playing. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the playing of the national anthem.
National salute! Salute!
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You may now be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now reached the end of our program. You are kindly requested to rise for the departure of the President of the Republic of South Africa, His Excellency, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, and his entourage. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We may now be seated for the announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen, I now request all our ministers, deputy ministers, members of the Portfolio Committee on Police, and members of the Executive Council, and our chairperson of subset, the Deputy National Commissioners, to proceed to holding room number 2. Ushers, could you please assist? Everybody else still remain seated. Ladies and gentlemen, I will now call all our lieutenant generals and to invite them to proceed to the main tent for the lunch. Ushers, can you please assist our lieutenant generals? Everybody else, please remain seated. Can I request our ushers to quickly proceed to our family members? Can I ask our ushers, row by row, can we please proceed and usher our family members to the tent left side of tent number 1 for a photo opportunity? All other members, please still remain seated. All students remain seated. The president will give you an opportunity just to greet, so all students remain seated. Ushers, can we assist the family members to proceed next to tent number 1? Can we please? We need to prepare for a photo opportunity. Brigadier Pupeli, can we have our photographers on site? I would please ask and request that we also remain seated. This is just to give us an opportunity to have a proper flow on the floor. Members of the South African Police Service, I requested you to remain seated. Can we please have a mic by the president, please?
I wanted to come and greet you as the band. One of my dreams was to play the trumpet, but I failed. So you do it better with clarinets and saxophones and all that. Well done, you always play very well. And I applaud you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All our invited stakeholders, can the ushers please proceed to our invited stakeholders to proceed to the main tent? Ushers, can we please proceed to our invited stakeholders?
Wonderful melody. Yes, these are the.
This college has got 2,500. No, many who are not.
Ushers, can we proceed to our stakeholders?
You want to greet them first?
Good morning, students. Good morning, trainees. You have the Minister of Police here, the Minister of Home Affairs, have the President, His Excellency himself, is coming to greet you. And he wish you that you complete your training. Nobody's gonna come out incompetent. You all pass. I hand over to Minister of Police.
Good morning, trainees. Good morning, trainees. Morning. Mr. President, we present them before you.
Our major changes.
There is just one thing that we have requested from the National Commission, that they should not be able to change the size of their uniform for 7 years after they've left the college. Yes. Thanks, Mr. President.
Good morning, trainees. How are you, trainees? Wonderful. Well, thank you very much. This is a wonderful opportunity for me, Minister, your Minister, Deputy Minister, and also Minister Mutwaledi, who is nearby. He's looking at to steal some of you for border management. Now there's a big competition between the Minister of Police and the Minister of Affairs, because both ministries are tasked with the responsibility of ensuring that South Africa is safe. Mr. Mutwaledi on the borders and Minister Cele to make sure that our people are safe. Now, I announced for employment in Parliament. So, been blessed by Parliament. Parliament knows you are here, and there's the chairman, the portfolio committee, Honorable Yabi. So the whole country knows that you are here. So you must finish your course and pass very well. But the whole country also knows that we bought you uniform. And your uniform fits you. Is that not so? Now, the whole country, as Minister was saying, expects that in 7 years, you will still in your. We expect for we expect you to be diligent. Now, I'm very pleased to see you all looking bright, very confident, looking forward to the future of working for the people of South Africa. And I wish you well in this task of serving the people of South Africa. As I was saying, you must see yourselves as servants of the people, that you are here to serve, and you must be diligent, and you must be prepared to go after the criminals, to make sure that there is law and order in South Africa. What South Africans, as you know, are crying out for is law and order, that the people of our country must obey the laws. Now, you are being trained about the laws of South Africa, so I say, go out, get our people to obey the laws. Those who don't obey, go get them. Go get them. You promise you will do that? Thank you very much. That's all I want from you. Thank you.
No, thanks very much. Again, no TikTok and uniform.
That is our president taking his seat amongst our students for a photo shoot. It's not always we have this
Okay.
opportunity.
Sit where you are. Ningafaka upresident ku TikTok.
I will make the next announcement. Can we still remain seated where we are?
Sit down, everybody there. Yeka le nto ka TikTok we. Yeka leo. Le ama selfies yekeni. Iyabezwa labantu. Wemuntu wekapisi, yeka le nto yenzayo. Yeka le nto yenzayo wena.
Make a way for the president, please.
How's it?
Nice to see you. Are you well? Well done, well done.
The
Please, man. Okay. But just speak on next.
Can I request our ushers now to usher our major generals and brigadiers to the main tent? Can we do it in such a way that we don't cross over the main entrance where the president still has to enter? Ushers? So that we don't create a congestion of traffic. All other members, please still remain seated. Students, I've asked you to remain seated. Where are you guys walking to? Can you take your seats here? The invited commissioned officers that is currently still remain seated on the green chairs, can you also continue now to the main tent? In the meanwhile, can the choir and the band render us an item? Can I request our Marutis to also continue to the main tent?
As I said earlier, it's wonderful to see you all. We see you at a very sad moment, but I'd like to thank you for having the strength to come. This is never an easy moment for us as well as for you, but whenever I come here, I come to pay my respects to those that come from your families that have fallen in service. But I also come to be able to see you all so that I can pay my own condolences to you as the families that have lost your loved ones, people who sacrificed their lives for the Republic of South Africa. There's no other sacrifice that any one of us can give to the country than their own lives. And you as family members, as families, you have participated in that sacrifice. So we honor you, we thank you, and we will forever remember your family members who fell in the course of the duty of the Republic of South Africa. So I dip my head to you, and I thank you, and I wish you strength. I wish you permanent strength, and I hope that you will be able to remember your loved one with love and with recognition of what they did and they stood for the people of South Africa. It's not easy for any one of us to say we will sacrifice our lives for other people. But you did just that. And I thank you and I salute you all. So thank you very much for this opportunity. We don't take this for granted, but we thank you. And we thank the manner and the dignity that you have displayed towards the Republic and also towards the police. And I do know that the police are so efficient, they do everything to make sure that the families are well looked after, the children continue with their education, and all the other things that need to be done by the state are done. If they are not done as they should, there is an office that looks after all these things. Do not sit in your corner and be dissatisfied. Approach that office. They will always be ready to help. This office in the police service is one of the most efficient offices. So they will always be ready to help. And there will be wrinkles along the way all the time, but they will be able to address all those things and sort them out. So we thank you very much for having the strength to be here. Thank you, thank you.
Can all the photographers please go back there, please, assembly, behind that line? All the cameras, photographers, there must be no one here.
We will request then our social workers, EHW personnel also to make their way with the family after the photo shoot to the main tent. Please be ready. There is an identified area for our special guest today, which is our family. So you will be accompanying them to the main tent for lunch. Further instructions will then be handed over to HRD for our students.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ask his spokesperson. Can you sort this picture out? I sent you the email. I think so. Let me check, but do the editing in the meantime.
Taking of the pictures done, eh?
Yes. Families.
Yeah,
The media. Yeah, media can come this side. Yeah, just editing it quickly, and then we'll send it there. Was there an email address?
Just a reminder, the 5 family members that has been identified for the media interview, can you please join Reverend Shamani in front of the big screen? The 5 members of the family that has been identified.
Yeah. In a few minutes, as soon as you send it. Yeah. Thank you so much.
There are voices crying out to the living God.
Lost and found keys, Honda, registration number JW40XTGP. Lost and found keys, Honda, registration number JW40XTGP. Please come to the announcers gazebo. Trainees, please remain seated for further direction. Please remain seated. Thank you very much.
This is never an easy moment for us as well as for you. But whenever I come here, I come to pay my respects to those that come from your families that have fallen in service. But I also come to be able to see you all so that I can pay my own condolences to you as the families that have lost your loved ones, people who sacrificed their lives for the Republic of South Africa. There's no other sacrifice that any one of us can give to the country than their own lives. And you as family members, as family education,
which is our family, so you will be accompanying them to the main tent for lunch. Further instructions will then be handed over to HRD for our students.